Amazing. It's just
Shalom, Uvrochim Habayim. Welcome to a very special and unique ceremony. It is special because this building is special to all of us assembled here. Unique because, as all of us know, this has never happened before in the United States. Let us begin by reading together the selection for the Dead Sea Scrolls in your program. I will praise you, O Lord, for you have put me by a source of streams on the dry ground, by bubbling springs on the parched land, by the waters that irrigate your luxuriant garden, a grove of pine together with fir and box, which you planted for your glory. These are the trees of beside a secret spring, concealed among all the well-watered trees. One day the trees of life will put forth a shoot, which will become the everlasting plant, for they take root before they grow and extend their roots towards the stream. And the plant will open its stem to the living waters. It will become an everlasting source of blessing. A tree of life in Hebrew is Eitz Chaim. It is an interesting phrase because it appears in many places throughout the Jewish Bible. Of particular note is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 18, of which this verse became famous as part of the conclusion of the service to return the Torah scroll to the ark. The Torah is compared to a tree of life, as it is the source of what makes us Jewish. The wood roller that the Torah scroll is attached to is also called Eitz Chaim. Some of you might know the English version of this song, and I encourage you to join. If you do not, don't fret. Join where you can and clap enthusiastically when it's time. The middle of the page. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom. Shalom, shalom. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom. How many of you became a bar or bat mitzvah at Tree of Life? Raise your hand. How many of you attended a bar or bat mitzvah at Tree of Life? Raise your hand. How many of you were married at Tree of Life? Raise your hand. How many of you attended any joyous event at Tree of Life? Raise your hand. We've had innumerable joyous celebrations here, spanning 71 years that the Center Core has been in existence. And we must not permit one day out of 25,993 days to define us, nor outweigh all the good. For we have been shown more than we can recall. And we are grateful to God for the thousands of blessings that have passed through these doors. Nervous young couples about to be married. Anxious b'nai mitzvah, pleading with God that they don't screw up their haftarah. I see some of you are here. Excited family members and friends bearing gifts for the newest young Jew about to enter the covenant on the 8th day of his life. Joyous family eager to celebrate the naming of a baby girl. countless sisterhood, men's club, USY, congregational and communal gatherings. We have fulfilled the tripartite ideal endorsed in the Talmud to be a house of prayer, a house of study, and a house of gathering. Not only do these venerated walls hold great stories, but so do all of you assembled here today. And no one can take that away from us. The gift of human memory is also a responsibility, and that is to share these stories. For each time you do, we honor our name, a tree of life, and are the roots, leaves, and new branches that reach both deep 159 years into Pittsburgh's past and stretch forward to the sun of a bright future. Let us sing together the more well-known version of Eitz Chaim that is sung when the Torah scroll is returned to the ark, in homage to the foresight and vision of those who saw to the building of this third version of Tree of Life here at the corner of Shady and Wilkins. Together. Eitz Chaim Amachazikim ba v'tol The poet Solovi crafted a beautiful poem that he permitted me to share with the congregation. And in your program, you'll see the final stanza of it. I will read one Hebrew line at a time, and then our president, Alan Housen, will lead you in the corresponding line underneath in English, and at the end, all of the concluding lines together. Eitz Chaim,
Tree of Life,
Sur Yisrael v'Goalo,
Redeemer of Israel,
Husa na v'chonenu,
and live in this moment with healing.
Yishkenu b'tochenu tzedakah u'mishpat.
Enliven this moment with hope.
Ya, Shmor tzeitenu uvoinu b'Pittsburgh u'v'rachavei tevel.
Oh, Rock of Israel, forget not the Jews of Pittsburgh.
Me'ata ve'ad olam.
Let your love flow in the days ahead. Justice and peace everlasting.
The text that we see below that is taken from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, made famous by the song by the Birds, which some of you may recall. It seems so appropriate as we move towards the conclusion of our ceremony. A season is set for everything, a time for every experience under heaven, a time for tearing down, and a time for building up, a time for throwing stones, and a time for gathering stones. I asked everyone attending to bring a small stone as a token of love and respect. But do not worry if you do not have one. We have a number of people spread about that are carrying containers with stones. We ask you to take one. And at the conclusion of today's ceremony, what we ask you to do is to carefully and gently come down here along the retaining wall. Just place your stone. We will then collect them. They will be stored, and we're working on the appropriate way to integrate them into the new structure. But before we do, there is one last task to perform. The mezuzah needs to be removed. On the door to my left, we have fixed the mezuzah that has blessed this building since 1952. It will be removed, cleaned, stored, and reaffixed onto the new building. As I do so, we'll ask you to join in our concluding song, which is today's theme, Lehit Ra'ot. We are not saying shalom because there is a finality to that word. This is not a final moment, but a pause into the next chapter, into the next 159 years of Tree of Life, until we see you again in even greater glory, O beloved Tree of Life. Words of hope for a brighter future for us all. I ask that you now rise, and I invite my colleague, Laura Berman, to lead us in Shalom Chavirim. After this, you may then begin to leave your stones as our ceremony will have concluded. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for our friends in Pittsburgh Public Service and Public Safety for facilitating today's ceremony. Thank you all for being part of the Tree of Life family. May we be privileged to again gather in the not too distant future to affix a new mezuzah on a new Tree of Life. Lehit Ra'ot.
You'll find the words at the bottom. The page under where it says gathering stones. Shalom Chaverim, Shalom Chaverim, Shalom, Shalom. Shalom Chaverim, Shalom Chaverim, Shalom. Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim, Shalom. Yitzhak, Yitzhak, Shalom, Shalom, once more. Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Right. Follow you. I thank you. I think I was looking over. Nice.